Today we're going to review the newest Netflix live action series, One Piece. Ain't going to give it a grade, but before I do that, I gotta let you know what movie breakdowns is. A movie review series, look at new and old movies, give it a grade, A through F, pluses, minuses through count. We also do series like TV shows and animes. And if there's a show or TV show or anime or whatever it is, movie you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below. I get to it as best I can. Also at Patreon/Zakka for $2 a month. Get your review out way before it come out on Facebook and YouTube. Now cut in front of everybody else because you're paying me to go watch that movie. I got to hunt it down, review it, and I put it up there just for you. Now, let's go and get into today's episode of 2023's Netflix One Piece. And this is going to have spoilers in it, so you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come back to it. But you have seen it, stick around. Plus, One Piece been out since 1997, and I think 96 since the manga. The anime is 97. And if you haven't seen season 1 of One Piece, go watch the anime, go read the manga and come back, because the show is different a little bit from the way the manga and anime goes. Now, what is One Piece? One Piece is about a boy named Luffy who wants to become the king of the pirates. He sets out to sea by himself and looking to gather a crew to get to the Grand Line and search and capture One Piece, the treasure that will make his dreams and the rest of the world dreams come true, and establish the one pirate who finds it, the king of the pirates. But in the live action though, you have the Navy, or the Marine, I should say. Navy is the 4Kids version. Sorry about everybody out there. The Marines who's trying to prevent Luffy from capturing that gold and rail Luffy in, and other obstacles that come along that prevents Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates to get to the Grand Line. And that's what season 1 is about. It's only 8 episodes long, and each episode is about an hour long. And when I first heard about this, because season 1 of One Piece, the anime, is 60 episodes. Season 1 is 60 episodes, and the first 30 episodes get you all the way to Cocoa Village, or the Arlong arc, as some people want to call it in the anime. And then episode 30 on to 60 are pretty much post Arlong, and then from there you have Log Town and a bunch of other filler stuff. So I was curious how they're going to do this, because that's 16 episodes. If you take each episode, each 30-minute episode, 8 episodes for an hour long, 16 episodes, 16 30-minute episodes. So I was curious how this was going to work, and for the most part, it worked pretty dang well. For the first 4 episodes, I was purely into it. Like, okay, they're hitting some things that I'm like really loving. There's some stuff where you're kind of like, they kind of, not to say dropped the ball, but they left out details that if somebody's watching, be like, well, who is this, or why that person matter, what happened to this person, what this person got to do with it. They don't explain a lot of stuff when it comes to like little small details that inspire character motivations, but they would change it up a little bit, so the motivations of certain characters, you'll be like, okay, I guess I can ride with this, it's perfectly fine. Like, for example, Arlong, I actually like the idea of Arlong ruling. He did say he ruled the East Blue, so every little thing that happens in this season, Arlong was touching it. Buggy the Clown messed up, so Arlong ended up showing up to capture or talk to Buggy like, hey, what happened here, where's the map? And Nami was looking for the map of the Grand Line so she can give it to Arlong, but also she wasn't stealing stuff. But then towards the end, she actually does. So like, hey, well, I guess she was stealing stuff here and there, but she never made it her actual focus. The focus in this series is more of the map, the Grand Line map, and Nami was going to get the Grand Line map to Arlong, but didn't. Guess, I don't know, because the map wasn't worth any money, so giving it to Arlong just benefits Arlong, but doesn't help Nami out get her town back. She just did it. And that's where like the show kind of messed up for me when it came to little plot changes like that. Like her looking Navy base, and then her, finding some treasure, something like that like the Navy had. She stole the treasure from the Navy to buy back her village, made more sense versus her getting the Grand Line map that really didn't add anything, because she wasn't trying to go to the Grand Line. That wasn't her goal. Her goal was buy back her village, and you don't find that out until like episode 7. But then she was like doing cat burglar stuff because she's a thief. if you were watching and you watched the anime, you read the manga, you know why Nami was doing things to be doing stuff, but the show kind of changed it around a little bit, so it didn't add up towards the end there till they like showed the treasure. And it's like, oh my gosh, you've been trying to buy back our village back the whole time. And I was like, I know. That's why I didn't want to tell you guys. But in the anime and manga, they already knew. The village already knew what Nami was up to, and that's why they was just acting like they was kind of going against Nami, so Nami wouldn't buy into that the village knew. But that's one thing they changed. Kobe and Hempo, they brought them more into the play. So if you ever read the One Piece manga, there are chapters, and before every chapter, Oda would do a little story sometimes, and each chapter has a different story that leads up to a different thing. Well, in the manga, Garp will teach Hempo and Kobe how to train and how to get better. Well, in the show, this is more of a forefront. So it kind of did the thing where the live action Cowboy Bebop did, where they show the vicious side and they show, the Spike side. This show did the same thing where they're following Luffy and then they were split and do Garp. However, they did a better way of doing this with Garp and Luffy. Because Garp was hunting down Luffy because Luffy's a pirate. Garp is the head of the he's the vice admiral of the Marines, not the head. He's the vice admiral of the Marines. So he's chasing down his grandson and see if his grandson is actually worthy enough to be a pirate. So he kept throwing challenges to Luffy and see if Luffy would get away. Now there are little things that Easter eggs. If you're a fan of the One Piece, you'll love, like Garp throwing the cannonball with his hands. Amazing. Garp using hockey and Shanks using hockey in the show. Amazing. So there's some things you're like, One Piece fan, one of the biggest things is Nami reading Nolan's story to Zoro as Zoro's passed out after fighting Mihawk. She reading the story to Zoro, and I was like, holy crap, that's not going to happen for another 200 episodes if you're watching the show, but you watch the anime or manga. But it's pretty dang cool to see it, in the series right now, because the book that was passed around, Sanji used to read the book all the time as a kid, so it was kind of cool seeing that little Easter eggs here and there. But for the most part, besides changing bits and pieces for storyline and adding different things in, like Captain Kuro and stuff, fighting him before his pirates raid the village, they fought them in the mansion, which had a more spooky, haunted horror vibe to it, which I was like, I love this. And then Luffy fights, Kuro, and it was kind of a cool little fight. The first 4 episodes to me really knocked it out the park. And then when you get to Barati, how you want to pronounce it, once you get there, it kind of stalls for me a little bit. The show kind of slows down tremendously, and maybe because it wasn't moving as much because it's in one spot. But when Arlong shows up and then Arlong fights Luffy and the gang the first time, and then Luffy loses to him, and then oh no, I'm not gonna lose to you the second time. It was kind of I don't know. It maybe because I'd seen the show, so I was like, I know how this ends. But let's see, I get the motion part of it down. And the Cocoa Village art, I think they didn't hit as hard because they only lasted there for 2 episodes. But Nami's issue of her being the cold-hearted person, and then trying to prove to the Straw Hat that she's not cold-hearted, that part there didn't hit as hard. But the first Nami Zoro meeting each other with Luffy meeting each other and bringing in Usopp and the Captain Kuro scenario and Buggy the Clown scenes, that stuff was really good. Then once you got to Barati and Sanji and his motivations wasn't really Sanji just left because he wanted to go find the All Blue, but the reason why he was saying to Barati wasn't really much of anything. He kept telling Chef Zeph that I'm going to protect you, that's why I'm staying here. But in reality, it was he really had no reason to stay, versus the actual anime and manga. Don Krieg shows up and then Sanji and Luffy team up together to defeat Don Krieg, versus in this one Sanji's I'm gonna just help out Zoro because why not? And you're all right, cool. He joined the crew because, and it's funny, Luffy went to Barati to find a chef. They want a chef for the crew. And the show, it was just oh, we're here because we're hungry, but it wasn't a mission to go there. It was to find a chef, and then but Zelf and Sanji had a little dispute. Sanji had to be put in the back, take off the line, and was in the back room, and Luffy saw him and was like, "Hey, I think you should join my crew." And he's like, "Okay, cool." So there's a few changes of like, okay, it's fine. But for the most part, it's a good show. It was good until it wasn't for me. Like, it was like going good, and then like the last couple episodes, I was like, all right, I'm just want to see how this going to end and see how we go. But storyline was, it's okay. It does its job. It doesn't disappoint. I was riding for the first 4 or 5 episodes. Like when Mihawk showed up, Mihawk versus Zoro, I was all about it. I was like, let's go. This is pretty cool. And then after that, it was just like, Some dislikes I had about this, I would say, would be, I think the costume design for the Fishman, like Arlong wasn't a bad design. He was pretty cool, but everybody else was just like, Like, you tried, I get it. It just didn't really work for me. But I get the props to it. The budget towards the last episode wasn't done so well. I don't know. Like, there's parts where like the CGI didn't look good. But then like early episode CGI looked okay. I'm down with CGI. And then the last couple episodes, it was like, yeah, it's definitely CGI. It's definitely Netflix budget. It's okay. It's all right. It's not offensive, but they try. I'll give them props for trying. We'll see what happens in later seasons if they continue it. Let's say budget gets better and they have more money to invest into the CGI. But as of right now, CGI wasn't the best. Like sometimes Luffy strikes didn't look really that good, but they tried. I give them props for trying. I give them props for trying on that. I did like the CGI, the fourth wall breaking, when somebody shows up and their wanted poster shows over their face and they like had to rip it down or cut it down or use their nose to cut it down or tear the wanted poster up. That was kind of cool. I like that little thing. And then the other thing, I feel like the early episodes, Luffy's writing was good. They wrote Luffy really, really good. And then towards the later episode when like Zoro gets hurt and Luffy sits there and he's contemplating, I don't know, maybe like he's feeling like maybe he's at fault for Zoro fighting for his dreams. I don't know. But like he was like self-thinking to himself and he didn't know really how to act or what to do. And I'm just like, Luffy, follow your intentions, follow your heart. But then you became stubborn when Nami was, saying I'm F the crew, I'm gonna do my own thing. Luffy's like, no, Nami's one of us. But in the show, Zoro's injured. Luffy's like having a waiver of heart, and that Luffy should be having that. He should be more like either you keep him intelligent and say like very aware and social aware of what's going on and like have a very social presence, social awareness like he does in the first couple of episodes, and then have him continue that, versus he was socially aware in the first couple of episodes and then like after Zoro fight Mihawk he came almost like he didn't understand social cues or like understand Zoro he's knocked out or all, like it's almost like his writing changed for what they wanted for this character and what they wanted to bring, what elements of Luffy they wanted to bring to the forefront. Like I liked how Luffy was actually cunning and way to stick up to people and talk to people and thinking more like on his toes in the first couple of episodes, versus when Zoro gets hurt and Nami goes to Cocoa Village, he's kind of like written one word, he's like, I don't know, I don't understand what hurt or pain or loss is. And then we're getting Nami back regardless. Let's go. Let's do this. And like, I get Luffy in the show was the same way, but they kind of did it differently in the live action. It didn't fit right. And then Garp shows up and Garp kicks Luffy butts at the end. And then Garp's like, okay, Luffy, you're ready to go. Go out there and explore the world. Let's go and talk about cast and characters right now. Like I said, I'm on Luffy. Inaki Godi, I'm not sure how to say his name, Inaki Godoy, who played Monkey D. Luffy. I thought he did fine. I thought he was a good Luffy. Like, the character design for the show, everybody looked like who they looked like. Like, there's no question who was who. But I thought he did good Luffy. Thought he did a good job there. Emily Rudd, who played Nami, great work for her. Thought she did a good Nami as well. Like, the whole characteristics of Nami, the way Nami did things. I thought she did that. I thought she brought it to the forefront. The writing for Nami could have been a little more cunning. Like she could have been more like that burglar cat and like stealing a lot more. But in the show, like for example, Kaya, who is rich, Nami should be like rich. Big mansions means more money. No, she was kind of like looking around and then she's like, oh, you caught me stealing. Okay, let's talk about it. And then she's kind of opened up to the crew and everybody. Makiyu, who played Renoa Zoro, I thought he did a good Zoro. He was stoic, like I want to drink, kind of reading everybody better. He didn't have that sense, that lost his direction they did in the show. That gimmick wasn't in here, but I thought he did a good Zoro. Vincent Reagan, who played Garp, thought he did a good Garp. Perfect. I have no complaints about him. Thought he did a good job. Morgan Davies, who played Kobe, solid Kobe as well. Adrian Scott, who played Hempo. You know what? I didn't think I ever need Hempo in the show, but good work for him. He was kind of a dick character like Hempo is, but also kind of becoming friends with Kobe and becoming more of a likable character towards the end. Jacob Romero, who played Usopp, good work from him. Good Usopp there. Taz Skyler, who played Sanji, for like the 4 episodes we got of him, or 5 episodes we got of him, I thought he was fine. Like, I actually like this Sanji, like how I like him in the anime. When Sanji gets into he's a cool character. He actually is like the chef who, for example, there's a scene where he cooks for Nojiko and like he gets her to talk that way. I like the fact they use his culinary skills as a way to get people to open up and be more charismatic and charming. So I thought they did a good job with Sanji in this. Jeff Ward played Buggy the Clown. Good Buggy. Thought he was solid. McKinley Bletcher III, who played Arlong, good. Thought he did a good terrifying Arlong. Thought he did a good job there. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the villains. I will give a shout out to Stephen John Ward, who played Mihawk. Thought he did a good Mihawk. Some nice work there. But that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think of... Wait, there's one more character that I definitely want to point out because he is like one of my favorite characters in the early One Piece, and that is Kuro, the guy that plays Kuro, who is Alexander Martinez, who played Kuro. Freaking phenomenal. Great job. Good work from him. Nice work. I love it. I love Captain Kuro. I wish they bring him back in the anime and the manga, but they're not because he wants to be off on his own. He don't want to be bothered. But good work from him. I thought the character design and everything looked good. Costume design in this show is A+. Everybody look cool like they look, but that's about it. Any other thoughts? The music in this is solid. I love the music on the show. Like the background music was done really well. The original score for the show is done really well. The design and set pieces work perfectly fine. They had that to a T. It's just some of the writing and characters' motivation in this kind of wavers between episodes. What really gets me. Is this a series you should binge? Yeah, you can watch this and binge it. Why not? In great time. I'm going to grade One Piece, the live action from 2023. I'm going to give this show a solid B. It gets an 85% for me right now. It did a good job. It was solid. It worked. It delivered a story. And I am curious to see what happens next. There's some cheesy stuff in here. The CGI is not the best. And some of the characters' writing is not good. But character design, set pieces all work. Like, the music in this is solid, and for the most part, the first 5 episodes hold you in. The last, 3 kind of just, but hey, it did what it needed to do. Good work there. So yes, this gets a 85% from me. IMDb gives One Piece the live action a 8.5 out of 10. That is an 85% as well. And that's a B for them. And then Rotten Tomatoes give One Piece live action a 83% from the critics. That's a B-, and a 96% from the audience. That is an A. It's all an A there. So yeah, good job, Netflix. You deliver on a great one. We'll see what you do with season 2. If you guys in the One Piece live action, what did you guys think? Please put in the comment section below on that. See you guys in the next episode, movie breakdown series review, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode movie breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all. And keep being awesome.